that we have from birth is to experience the external world, to get whatever our experience of so-called life is, basically how we interact with the external world, the input we are getting, then it processes into the brain, and some part of it goes to the memory, and so on and so forth. So these five senses are needed. We are equipped with this human body with five senses, get the external world information or interaction with our external world. And when we like to, it also needs some kind of rest. So during the sleep, it goes into the dormant mode. We don't use that actively during when we sleep. So that is how we are equipped with to get input from interact with the external world. So most of our version of our life is what are the information, what are the input we are getting from the outside, which is through these five senses, and process into the brain, and then it triggers some thought, maybe some emotion, then we react to it and don't react to it. We think something, we say something, we do something. That these three things, our thoughts, words, and actions, comes out of our free will. So what do we do and how we process and take any action or reaction from this information, that depends up to us. On us, we process through our brain, and which is controlled by our ego, as simple as that. So that processes, and our life experience goes on, and keep on getting input, and action, reaction, and all this takes place. That part is everybody is known about. But when today's topic is, which is beyond that, is there any experience we can have which is not contributed by these five senses? And those are the informations we are getting, the experiences we are getting. Those are we are getting it mostly from our inner world, like from what we connect through the internally. From that we get it, and those are normally known as the psychic abilities, which is beyond our physical realm, or beyond our physical experiences. And so that will give a little bit of understanding of that, what are those and how we get there. So that it is for the understanding only. We'll not do any kind of practice or anything here, but just for the understanding. Today we'll go into understanding of this. Psychic abilities if you see that fundamental understanding wise, if you see that whatever the five senses input you are getting or information you are gathering through your ego mind, then your psychic abilities, you are getting the information through your awareness, which is the tool of your soul. So why many people, they don't have any experience? Because they have not grown into that awareness level where you can capture this kind of experiences. It is as simple as that. If we grow more into this awareness level, awareness is the tool of, again I'm mentioning, tool of our soul. Our consciousness operates through that. So as long as we are in the mind level, our operating level, input collection will be, data collection will be through this five senses. It is. So something is too hot, we can touch and say it's too hot, too cold, and etc. Those are input we are getting and process, and then we decide about how to think about it, or how to say about it, how to do about it. So that's the three things under free will. In this, the second category, it is coming, which is beyond five senses, is coming from the awareness. That means these are beyond our mind level. So all these things beyond our mind level, because mind is not processing the information, our awareness is processing the information. but our mind will use as a platform only. It will not actively involved. It is just used as a platform to receive that. We can, through the awareness, it will again come down to the our mind platform so that we can process it. But input is not from our five senses. It is coming from our awareness level. This, as I mentioned, this awareness grows when you are into the spiritual path. You grow into the awareness. So your level of awareness depends upon your spiritual growth, and all of us, our experiences differ simply because our awareness levels are different. I'm not saying any high and low or good or bad or somebody don't have, somebody have it. I'm not comparing with anyone and anything, because we are all walking our own unique path. We have to grow in our own awareness level, in nothing to do with somebody else has done this. And whatever path we are walking, maybe the millions have already walked the path before us. They might have left the body and all, may not be still living, doesn't matter. So it is not something that we are starting new. It is new maybe for us, but it is not, the pathwise, it is not new. Only what I am saying is that same destination we can reach in infinite ways. When Ramakrishna Paramahansa he mentioned Jotomat Totopat, means that many opinions, those many paths. So those are, so we are walking a certain path which are resonating with us, which we feel attached to, and we walk the path. Maybe we'll get some guide and guidance on external guru on the process, and we get guided, and then we move on to our own path, and we can get the guidances as and when we need it. So after a certain level, it comes to a stage where we can get guidance from inside. When our inner guru awakened, or we started communicating with our higher self, which was the last session, but I have already discussed in detail. Then we don't need anybody physically outside to get the guidance. We can get guidance from inside, and we can move our own path, move ahead with our own path. In fact, at certain level, you have to be guidance from your higher self, and that is the only way forward. Before that, there are many, they can help you to come to that stage. When inner guru awakened, then there is no need for any kind of external guru or guide to do that. Of course, you can keep a good relation and respect and all those things, but guidance, the day-to-day guidance is no longer required. That's how it works. Okay. So this is about, now let us talk about what are those experiences which are beyond the five senses. Any kind of meditational experiences. During meditation, you can see something, or you can hear something, or you can feel something which is not contributed by your five senses. Suppose while meditating, you may feel like you are going through a white light or a cloud or things like that. Physically, you are not going to the cloud. You are just experiencing that you are doing that, or you feel like maybe floating or maybe expanding. You feel very light and but your physical body is not doing that. It is just the experience you are having during meditation which are doing that. We often say during meditation we get blessings or meet with masters and all. Those are all beyond your five senses. It is not physical, So those presences which are in the spiritual domain, and those experiences what you have, those are your psychic experiences. And if you when we can hear something which cannot be, which normally, normal ear you cannot hear, you can just feel something, some vibration, some sound or something that may not be physical. So when we go through this kind of experiences, and then not only our external, we need to stop our interference from our external world. That's why we try to close our eyes and all those kind of things. try to, initially, later on, it doesn't matter. No matter what is happening, you can simply get detached. But initially, we need to isolate ourselves, not to be in too much of, chaotic environment, and close your eyes, a little bit silent area, and also that you can put your senses inside, and those will help you to reach to the level to experience your internal, whatever experiences are, to record them and to go through them. So in this, all kinds of meditational experiences, these are mostly psychic. All kinds of communication with your higher self or anyone else, any other masters or angels and guides, and those are the psychic abilities, the communication. There are some professionals who can communicate, with that is also some skill area that can be developed. There's another question I will explain there in detail. But in general, it is which is non-physical input you are getting through your connection, through your awareness you are reaching there, not through your mind or not through your five senses. You are simply aware of that. Those are the experiences, are your psychic abilities or psychic experiences. All of us, we are born with the certain psychic experiences, psychic abilities. So it is nothing new. You need not to install it from somewhere. But those abilities are not developed unless and until you spiritually grow in awareness. If you go strictly into scientific terms, then those abilities grown when more and more DNA get activated inside our cells. In normal human being, in the physical level, we can activate maximum up to 3% of DNA. But through spiritual practices, we can go beyond much beyond that. Means if you have like 20% activated, it will be like a superhuman qualities you will have, So like a thought reading, teleportation, and, being present multiple location at the same time and communicating somebody in the much distance telepathically, and the healing abilities and all these kind of things will come. So with that. But psychic abilities, this kind of communication is one of them, which you develop on that spiritual path. And later on, you use those abilities to communicate then with the higher dimensional masters and all those things. So physical thing doesn't matter, because physical communication has a limitation. But this communication it can reach to much higher level in the energy level. Energy level and higher. And then when first we start with minor things, small thing. Over the period of our practice, it goes to fine-tuned, then you can make it out, you can understand, and all those kind of things. So that practice, etc., I already explained in the last session about communicating with higher self. But it is not only communication now. Now we are, increasing broader our spectrum, so that we can get the communication. Okay. Another way to understand that from where this information is coming, it was there, or it is something new. But how can I capture something which earlier was not? So where were they before? To understand that, let me give you scientific understanding of that. Whatever we are physically we are experiencing, like we see something, we hear something, those are our external instruments are capable of capturing a certain bandwidth of frequency at a certain kind of frequency. We can hear maybe 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz of vibrational sound. That we can see the spectrum, which is called WeAreOne spectrum in the electromagnetic wave. If you see the overall electromagnetic wave spectrum, WeAreOne is a very small part of it. If you see the physics, it's a very small part of it. Actually, we can capture through our eyes. Most of the things we cannot capture. And very easily, the science has mentioned something is called infrared or ultraviolet. But infrared and ultraviolet is not that simple. There are, many, in fact, infinite. It can go both ways. No? Infiniteness small, it can be infinitely large. That frequency or vibration or bandwidth, the wavelength or whatever way you treat that frequency. So same thing is here. So if you go into that territory, that means if you try to hear something. Earlier there was some supersonic jet planes were there. Now they have banned it. Concorde and other things. See, if that Concorde flight goes above your rooftop, there was some breaking glass, etc. happens, but I'm not talking about that. If some sound is too high to record, you will see suddenly your ears will get numb. You cannot hear anything. Very high sound, then you get numb. You cannot hear anything. Lower, of course, you cannot hear, but in the higher level also you cannot hear. If there is any light, it is too much bright. You can also get blinded with that. You cannot see things if a light is too bright. That's why we cannot look at directly to the sun, mostly. I'm not talking about sun yoga. There are techniques, but in general, we cannot look at the sun. It's too bright to handle. Our eyes, we cannot get into that one. So these are the experience tells you that there are something which is beyond your five senses. Those wavelengths it cannot capture. It is as simple as that. So anything is happening, any information passed on in that territory, if there is a sound which is say beyond 20 hertz or say beyond say 100 hertz, 100 kilohertz, then we may not listen to that. Even by maybe from microphone, etc. Also there may be only you're widening the range. That's all. But you cannot capture that. So if there is someone is communicating in that kind of vibration, then you will not be able to hear it with your physical instrument, what you have as our five senses. Anything, if you want to live in some place, we need a certain kind of temperature. Beyond that, we cannot live. Too cold or too hot, we cannot live there. So the touch, the skin also has a sensitivity. We cannot accept all kind of temperatures and all kind of input through our skin as well. So we have a limitation. But in those areas, so the psychic abilities, you can just scientifically, if you want to understand, you can capture that those are those vibrations which physically we cannot capture, but we can capture with our awareness. So in that level, we can go there, and that vibration also we can capture. See, more it is also depends upon your own vibration, your cellular vibration. More you go into higher vibration, just that window will be expanded. You'll get more and more. At one level, you can be hearing something, or you may be seeing some energy bodies of people, like we call aura reading, and all that can be easily done. Everybody has an aura. So you can see that, the glow around the person, maybe multiple layers and all those things. You can see that once you are high, but if you're lower in vibration, then your window is limited. Like from house, our window is small, we can see a limited area. But if the window is a big, or the full wall is made of glass, we can see from the ground to the sky everything. The same here. So those window, our instrument is vibration. If our own vibration is big, our window is big, we can capture many informations. So I hope the scientific understanding is clear. It is not something added to it. It is some area it is happening. Same way like we normally hear something. Somebody is talking in another vibration beyond 20 to 20 kilohertz. So we can capture that one also. And that's what it is. We can capture that and we can make information out of it. Even we are using mobile phones, etc. The signals of the mobile phone goes into the high frequency bandwidth signals. That we can normally hear, but it has got an instrument, it can reverse it, and then we can hear the sound again. So that is the way they transport it. But here we can capture that Just you need to connect energetically and you capture that and then you get those informations. Okay. All right. Now let me come to the how many types of psychic abilities. Let me see if I have missed any question. So the question was human experiences which are beyond reach of five senses that I explained. Understanding of the psychic abilities. Okay. So I just explained from where those are coming and what are the psychic abilities. Okay. Now I'm going to the detail of what are the psychic abilities we can get. We normally if something we cannot see in the physical eye, but we can see closing our eyes, or just that the images what we get inside us through that experiences. This known as clairvoyance. Okay, clairvoyance is one of the psychic ability, and we call it is opening of the third eye. Means it is not a physical eye, so you have another added thing. It's called opening of the third eye, which means that you become a clairvoyant. Just to give you the understanding of that, clairvoyance is basically a French origin. It's known as a clear vision. Like it is like a better vision than we have what we normal, worldly thing we can see. So it is that ability to see beyond our physical reality that is called clairvoyant. So clair, as I mentioned, clair means clear in the French, clear vision. So if we can see something, I was mentioning during meditation, we can see maybe some light or some passing through some tunnel, or see some master and coming and blessing us, some deities and all. Those are all coming under our clairvoyant abilities. So all of us, we are born with a little bit of that, but we can practice it and grow it more. So that is true for all other psychic abilities. So first one is the clairvoyance. So if somebody has a clairvoyance abilities, they are known as clairvoyant. The person is known as clairvoyant, who can see beyond the physical reality. That's what it means. Also, you can see, so further, it's called IVA, it is distant viewing, it is called. It is also possible one can see that in the past and the future events, those are also possible through this clairvoyant abilities. So those are many ways it can grow into that. So number one is clairvoyant, and next one is called clairaudient. If clairaudience is that is noun, or the person who can clairaudient, the person is known as clairaudient. If he or she can listen to something which is the sound which is not physical. So if those are coming from the higher dimensions or beyond the physical realities. So these also, as I earlier explained, if somebody is listening to some sound which is not physical in nature, then that's called clairaudient. So let me go a little bit of more onto that to make it interesting. During meditation, so I'm sure you have that experience. If you during meditation, even now, if you can close your eyes, you can hear some continuous cricket sound in the background. Like if you go to the forest in the evening, the cricket sound, this kind of sound, it happens into the forest and all. So that kind of continuously, there'll be some sound in the background. Even if you close your eyes now and just focus inside, you can hear that. I'm sure. So that sound is the sound of your root chakra. Okay. So we all can hear that. Even though for that you don't need to go into the high level of spiritual attainment. This particular sound you are listening during meditation, particularly, even in the awake stage also you can listen, but if you are focused, but otherwise if you close your eyes, you can listen to that sound. This sound is one of your clairaudient ability. So how you distinguish this is the clairaudient sound and it is not the psychic level sound, it is not a physical sound, because this sound you cannot record with any kind of physical recording instrument like tape recorder, mobile phone or something. This sound you cannot record. You can hear it, you can listen to it when it is happening, but you cannot record with any physical instrument. So that is a proof that this sound is not physical. It is beyond physical domain, and that's why it is called, that kind of sound listening is called clairaudient ability of yours. So which you can hear. So on that. So of course, this is not the only one. There are maybe millions or maybe infinite type of sounds we can hear, the communications we can hear. There are different type of musics we can hear, which is not in the physical domain. So those we get it through our awareness, to the higher dimension, to the inner world. And inner world, there are many dimensions. If you visit other dimensions also, each dimension has their own kind of signature, sound or environment, or not sound only, it's everything. So there also you can get this through that. So those kind of, you will get the experience. Okay. It is actually not physically hearing something. I'm not saying you will hear in your ear. I'm not saying that. But you can feel the sound. So that is the right understanding of this clairaudient abilities. What you have, more and more you grow into that, more and more type of sounds and inner sounds and this kind of communications, music or whatever it is you can hear, which is much, much beyond that, beyond your physical reality. The next one is called clairsentient. Clairsentient is basically, it is a feeling. You can feel something that is present, but you may not get any vision, or you cannot hear any sound, but you can feel it is there. You can feel the presence of something. When everyone has got their own set of abilities. So initially I was having this clairsentient abilities, because each one of us will have their own dominant psychic ability. Like somebody can hear better, somebody can see better, clairvoyance, somebody be clairaudient, and somebody can clairsentient, like they can feel. I was into that. Out of these three, whatever I discussed so far, my clairsentient ability was more. When Babaji first appeared and in 1st December 2013, just about to be 9 years now, I have written in my spiritual journey, 4 o'clock in the Brahma Muhurt, he came into my room and then give me some first message. That is the first communication. Earlier it was a prayer, one way. That time I can feel Babaji's presence through clairsentient ability. Like I can feel that. I can explain that how Babaji looks like, what he is wearing, where he is standing. And of course the communication, what he is telling, clear. There is no doubt about it. So my ability in that, the psychic ability, that feeling, clairsentient was the predominating. So all of us will have different variation of that. Just like the physical senses we have, someone can hear better, but they cannot see much clearer, or something of that nature. So those things we vary. We have a strong in one, maybe may not be that strong in the other senses. Same here. Our clairvoyant abilities, clairaudient abilities, and clairsentient abilities. Not everybody is strong in all this. Maybe one of them you are having stronger. So out of that, when you grow into this awareness level and you grow into more practices and all those go higher into vibration, the spiritual practices, more and more it gets clearer and clearer. clearer and clearer, faster, like instantaneous. You get quick communication. Sometimes the whole understanding gets downloaded instantly. That part, when you go to that level is known as, is further into your higher level of psychic abilities that are called claircognizant. Claircognizant means it is knowing, your inner knowingness. So then what happens is you don't need that kind of tool to communicate separately, and it just gets downloaded momentarily, and you know it, that this is what it is, and there is no doubt, there is no confusion that what is happening and it is correct or not, and the doubt, that is a job of our ego mind to create those things. But when in the level of purity, when you are into that territory, there is absolutely no doubt that what is happening and what is. Of course, if it is something is not clear, you can ask again. Please give me the clarity. It will come to you again. That's not an issue. That I discussed last session, that how to communicate with our higher self. So similar here, if there is a communication, but there is something comes as a knowingness, and that knowingness, it comes. That is not logical. You cannot prove how that information has arrived, from where it is arrived, and all those kind of things. So those are not really, it is not really relevant in this domain. So you get to understand in claircognizant is that. So ultimately what happens is we go all into that mode. We can still keep other things. We go all into all knowingness. And of course, our the goal is the experience of oneness, the one, the creator, the universal consciousness is, all knowing. It knows everything. So what you are thinking, what you are planning to do, what is your past, what is your future, and what is the thing, how universe is, everything is known. So because this knowingness. So our journey is towards the all-knowing, stage. But better to start with something, the inner knowing, and then we go to ultimately we go to the level what is everything is known on that territory. This knowingness, just let me clarify, like a normal understanding, the way we said that know everything, that means you maybe think of knowledge from a book, or nowadays maybe the memory, how much memory you need to keep all this information stored. So beauty of that is it doesn't need any memory, because it is not a storage business altogether. Awareness is the momentary download of everything you need. There is no storage. As and when you need it, the information get downloaded, or instruction gets downloaded, the process get downloaded. You just simply express that momentarily. There is no storage required. So all-knowing does not mean that they have a bigger storage, or maybe the several or some terabyte of memory they have. They don't have any memory. It's all just tap into that. Or I say the spiritual word is you tune into that. There is all-knowing, the universal consciousness through your soul consciousness. You tune into that, then you come to know whatever is there. And that particular way of knowing things is called obtaining those informations are called Brahma Gyan, the universal knowledge. The universal knowledge you can go. You don't really download and save. You really tune into that so that you are aware of that. So that is a level of awareness, and that's how it works. So there are a lot of things which is non-physical, and you can come to know about that through this process. Your psychic abilities, connecting it, and then knowing it. Once knowing, you know to store it, you can let go. Again, maybe somebody is asking some question. You simply tap into that, you answer. You never see that any master is fumbling to okay, I will consult the book and come back, because it is not needed. It is nothing to that information not stored in the book. He or she need to simply connect and get the information and give it. So that is come through knowingness and through connection. That's what I was telling you. You have to just know how to tune into that. that comes that we all practice going to expanded awareness state, and that is how to tune into that. To go through your expanded awareness, to silent your mind, that your stillness of the mind, and then go beyond your physical reality, and then from there going to expanded awareness, you can connect with your higher self. And you can, or if you're not directly doing it, you ask your higher self to get that information for you. The higher self will give you the information when you establish that regular communication with your higher self. Many, many things, but we might not have noticed, but your higher self knows it all. No means it is in tune with the universal consciousness. That's why it can be given it to you at any point of time. These things has a little bit of personal, when we walk our own spiritual path. I need to also mention that these things also, there are some area when you are getting your soul's lesson, or some get experience you need to get, then you will not get that information. That is for a purpose. So that is for a purpose that we are not get into that. Otherwise, it is possible to get any kind of information, particularly your own information. You will definitely get it. Yeah. So now let me come to the question that what are the psychic abilities? I told you that 4 things: clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and claircognizant. That so. If you go to the meaning, means clairvoyant is seeing things which is beyond physical reality. Clairaudient is listening things beyond physical reality. Clairsentient is you're feeling something which is not physically present. And claircognizant is knowing something internally which it is not coming from any external source. So these are the 4 main psychic abilities one can develop. And as I said, the knowingness is it is the ultimate version of that all these other 3. So developing psychic abilities, how we can develop? Yes, it is also a skill that we can develop. So question is, are people born with psychic abilities, or skill can be learned? It is people do born with psychic abilities. In fact, they are more psychic than normal adults. Because what happens is we have a brain, and we have a pituitary gland, pineal gland, you can say, midbrain. So during the childhood, those are normally being in the fluid state, and more adult grows all, there's some calcification happens, some formation happens around it. The calcification got faster if you use fluoride. Some people, that's why they didn't use fluoride toothpaste and things like that. So anyway, those are the things, because of the pineal gland gets covered up, and then we lose that kind of abilities which we are born with. So, but it can be developed by practicing, and that this skill can be developed further. It means we already have it, you need to be fine-tuned, and we expand that. And how to do that? So I am giving you a few tips. That first is that you understand that this kind of abilities cannot be achieved by force. It can be simply, we can tune into it by being. Like when we be our higher self, we are with our higher self, or in a soul consciousness. Then from the I consciousness to being, I means the lower version of us. So being in the higher self of us, if we go to that, then just the being, these things will be slowly being developed. More and more we are operating through our being rather than our ego, then these things will come from us. But this cannot be developed or achieved by force. We cannot make it happen. It will automatically come when we are vibrating in the higher level and we are in the being level. These things comes as a gift automatically. The spiritual masters, they do have this kind of thing. Simply they live in the being, and that's what this comes automatically. And next, also in this psychic abilities, when we go into expanded awareness, it comes automatically. That's what means in the being. In this process, let me caution you, there should not be any visualization, no imagination involved. The more you imagine things or visualize things, you will be away from the clairvoyant or clairaudient or this clarisentient abilities. Yeah. So there should not be, don't encourage any kind of visualization. I mean to say, by visualization, you cannot reach there. By imagining things, you cannot, be there. You have to simply by awareness. So, and that some of the meditation techniques they call mindfulness, but mindfulness is not actually the correct spiritual terminology. It is having zero mind level, no thought zone. That's where you get it, not by feeling the mind with something. So that is another way to develop the psychic abilities. So, and when you go into that territory, let your free will, you allow your free will to explore within. Don't try to enforce which path, which way it will look and where it will go and how it will communicate. Those are your thoughts, that if the thoughts are guiding your inner experiences, the purpose of your inner experiences will ruin. You can just say, my higher self, please guide me, and then leave it there, wherever it takes you. That will be your right way of getting into that abilities and capture those experiences, rather than you are forcing, you are going in a certain direction. Yeah. And once you get that experiences, then you trust that. Yeah? So don't allow your mind to analyze, judge that experiences. But this cannot happen. From where this is coming? This is not true. This is the typical, symptom that your ego get involved again. Your judgment, your doubt, or fear. It can inject fear. It can inject doubt, or logically convince you this is not possible. Those are the characteristics of your ego. So make sure you are not going into the territory and analyzing and judging your experience. Simply you experience, that's all. Matter ends there. Make it simple. You experience something, let it be. No need to say whether possible, not possible, or it is a big experience, small experience, somebody had it before or after, and all those kind of things. There's no need. Yeah. Initially, you may consult with your guru or spiritual guide just to make sure that these are actual, your higher dimensional experiences, not your mind thing. That last session also I explained, I answered one question on that one. So that is there. But in this also you just allow, it is a path of pathlessness. Okay, there should not be any strict path to follow. So allow that experience to happen. Allow that expansion, that freedom to happen. Then only you'll get that experience. Okay, that's what I mean when you say don't dictate what to see and what to get from there. Okay. And also regular meditation practice, it will strengthen your these abilities. And before you go into this, sometimes not initially, but before you go into that territory, it is start with practicing a prayer so that you are protected during this psychic protection. We can do Guru Vandana or any kind of protection, invoke the protection so that you are not driving it, your higher self is driving it, or anybody in higher dimensional master is driving it, and they will protect you from anything. There is no harm. Don't get fearful. Nothing, no harm will happen. But initially, maybe it is recommended that you have some psychic protection so that there is no, you don't get into something where it's not really needed. You have to, if you go into something, I'm just telling you, simply say, thank you very much, please, go away. If you meet something which you are not comfortable with, as simple as that, it will go. So that is the way we can go into that, our psychic experiences. And more we practice, more we develop, fine-tune it, it becomes faster, more precise and more accurate. And then we can, go ahead with it, go ahead further with it, and then more practice will get. So these are the way you can enhance your the psychic abilities, the tips what I have given. So the practice makes it better. Yeah. So that's all from the learning point of view on this topic. So if there is any questions, so I'll be happy to answer them. Any question?
Guruji, pranam. So, what I have
Pranam.
understood out of this lesson is that either some people already have some kind of a psychic ability due to their past experiences or past meditations, or if you don't have, then it can only be developed once you practice meditation and you go into that extended awareness state.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it is true, but it is not the full picture. It means all of us, what I'm saying is all of us, we do have psychic abilities. It's a matter of whether we are using it or not using it.
Not using it. Okay.
Okay. So if you are not using it, then to reactivate, to develop that ability, redevelop rather, you already have it. As I mentioned in the childhood, we all of us, we have it. So slowly, it gets like gets layer by layer, it gets dust on it. So we need to clean it. So make sure it comes back again. So that is the process. I mean to say, you need not to import that ability from somewhere. It is already within you. Okay. Only thing, more you practice, better you go. It's like a skill. You can develop that one. So, and when you go to the full awareness state, that time you will get it as a gift. You need not to do any further effort into that. Just simply you can do it. Start doing, using them. So it is not
Guruji,
that some people have it, some people don't have it. All of us, we have it. But how we
sometimes
practice that, how we use it, that gives our, that much stronger we become.
sometimes in a group meditation you find that few people they see some lights or something other people are not been able to see. So how do you
Mhm.
term such experiences in the same group?
See, I have two things to say here. First is what others are experiencing, it is none of our business. Okay. It is okay. Means whether they are in same group, different group, or following whom doesn't matter. Okay. Because everybody is following their own unique experiences.
Okay.
So all of us will have through. It's like a circle. All of us will have it,
Okay.
like a merry-go-round. No, it is like a wheel. So all of us will have in the top sometime and come down also sometime. So all experiences will have. If somebody is going up and I'm going down, it doesn't mean that we'll never be there. It's just a process. It will happen for us. We'll have experience all the places in the giant wheel when we are riding it. Okay, same.
Right.
I think you understand it that way. It is nothing to do
Okay.
with somebody is happening and not happening. The second part, I'm saying that it is our experiences are unique. We are walking our own path. So it is not necessary that somebody has experienced something. Maybe somebody has experienced some white light, but I have never experienced white light. That doesn't mean that my path is anything lower or higher than the other person. Maybe that white light is not needed in my path. I don't need to see that. That's all. Okay.
Thank you.
So it is not necessary the same experience we also like to have. Whatever is necessary is for us, it will come to us.
Thank you,
Okay.
Guruji.
So
Thank
that
you so
leave it
much.
to the divine, it will take care of itself. All right.
Wonderful.
Okay. Okay. God bless you. Okay. So Dhanjali, who there? Yeah. Sreshi, yeah. You wanted to ask something?
Yeah, Guruji. My question to you is that, like you said, that some of us might have like one of the three as dominant, like clairvoyance or a clairaudience or the other.
Hmm.
So, like, is it important for us to know about it, or like, when do we get to know, or is it like important for us to know at this stage, like what is dominant?
Hmm. Yeah. See, for if you ask me that the knowingness is ultimately you have to go there. Knowingness. So, and as I was mentioning, all of us will have a one dominant characteristic. So that dominant. I'm not saying others are missing, yeah, but one will be our stronger. Suppose if we know, say, 3 different languages, maybe one of the language I know better than others. So for maybe further study, I'll be using that language to know better. That's how it is. So same here. So we need to get into that so that we can use that to progress ourselves into that. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong if you practice something. Maybe you are stronger clairaudient. You can hear something, but you cannot see something much. You can practice that. You will get it. It is normally, we had earlier clairvoyant workshop also. We had it in, I think, Delhi, we had in Kolkata, we have maybe in Bangalore also we had earlier. See, those things we have to, means there will be some kind of picture given, like a initial thing, and then you close your eyes and go further. Only thing, you have to start this in the full aware state, like a stopping thought mind. Then you can explore something which you're beyond your thought mind, and you go that, then you can, that is that some techniques to develop that clairvoyance abilities. Same like clairaudient abilities, but to answer your question, means different methods, but it is not necessary. Ultimately, if you go to the knowingness level, that's it. If you know it, you don't need to go into other, method which we are not strong with. Suppose you are getting a college degree. So college degree, you can, whatever language or medium of instruction, you go into that. So means once you have completed in English, that does not mean that you have to do again in German. Okay. So once you have done there, you've gone there. You need not to learn another thing, and maybe you know little German, but no need to go again to get into the same qualification. That's what I mean. Okay.
Well, we can be aware of even if we are not enlightened, but we can still be aware of what is our dominant. Okay.
Enlightenment, you have already graduated that. That's all. It doesn't mean you cannot study, you cannot have any experiences beyond that. We can use all sort of things, the techniques. But when you, just the difference is, initially people like to use all this. I'm just giving, just for example, for their own reasons. But one person get enlightened and got master level, they use it for others because they use it for the humanity. And that's why it gets powerful. Because you are in tune with what divine wants to do for the humanity. So, okay. So even though initially you may not get much success because it solely depends on your own personal will and you wanted to experience something. That is the motivation. But the motivation gets bigger, then divine will help you to get there much faster. Okay.
Guruji, when you're talking of these workshops, do you have these workshops online also nowadays, or it's still?
No, I have not done that workshop online yet, but because of COVID and all, I stopped doing all them. But these workshops this is a little higher level workshop, so we'll do it, in future again to do that. That practice is needed, guidance is needed. So the initial workshop is about learning what is spirituality and all, Kriya Yoga and all this. And then other things are there. So this is one of them. It will happen. So, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Okay. God bless you.
Guruji,
Next,
I have a question. Guruji, what is the exact work of pineal gland or pituitary gland? What is, how it is related to our spiritual journey?
You see, that is called midbrain activation. That is the physical part in the body which determines this higher level of experiences. That pineal gland. It's called, when it is fully active, it's called midbrain activation. It is in between our left brain and right brain. Our left brain is a logical brain and right brain is a creative brain. But in between that midbrain, that is responsible for our that the higher level, higher means non-physical experiences. So that is what we do. That the midbrain activation is some big technique. So, but that when you go into the higher level, that midbrain need to be activated. But only thing is we don't normally go into that, because if your midbrain is activated or during that time, your physical activities need to stop. Means you need to, means it will be solely into that meditative zone. So again, that time you cannot physically manifest something. So that's why we don't normally go into that level like that. But it is a process that can be done at a certain level. It can happen, and there are techniques. There are many more techniques are there to go into that. But whatever you have learned, if you follow that, ultimately at the right point of time, it will come to you. Okay. Basically, I'm saying you are not missing anything. You are just follow the path. It will happen. For a certain vibration, certain level, it will happen to you.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Okay. God bless you. Anyone? Any other question? All right. So there is no further question. So we'll go into our Kriya and meditation. And sit straight. And take a few deep breaths in to relax yourself. Now take a take a deep breath in for 3 Om chanting. Now Guru Vandana. Akhanda Mandala Karam Vyapam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Ajnanatimira andhasya Jnana Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha. With the divine blessings of Mahavatar Babaji, his sister Mataji, Amar Jyoti ji, Guruji Prem Nirmal, Guru Ma Bharti Nirmal, and all the masters of Guru Mandala, we shall start our Nirmal Kriya first in Pran Mudra.